hums in the other room, morning bends across the floor. Dust moves slow like tiny moons, drifting where you stood before. I don't chase the things we lost. Some are better left like rain, falling softly out of reach, leaving circles on the pain.
a flickering neon like a scene from some old dream.
And the sunrise hit the dashboard, pink and orange through the glass. We said nothing for a moment, didn't want to make it past. If tomorrow disappears, if the maps all wash away, I'd still find you in the noise at the edge of every place.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys are excited for this 90-minute river architecture tour because I'm right there with you. Ladies and gentlemen, guess what? My name is Lucas. I'll be your tour guide today. I'll be teaching you a little about Chicago, Chicago's history, its culture, and ultimately this is an architecture tour. But guess what? We're spending the next 90 minutes together. Might as well get to know each other, right? Starting with this. Do me a big favor, raise your hand and make some noise if this is your first time on a Wendella boat ride. Oh wow, it's going to be like that today. That lack of energy. Well, it's too cold outside or something. Wow, all right. Make some noise if this is your first time in the city of Chicago. Any Chicagoans here? Okay, we were a little louder that time. All right, the loudest group on this vessel today is going to be any Chicagoans. Make some noise. Yeah, notice how they were the loudest. Welcome to Chicago, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Chicago here on the right side of the vessel and in the sky now. We're going to be looking up at the second tallest tower here in the city of Chicago, and you already know its name, the Trump International Hotel and Tower, complete finish in 2009 by the architect Adrian Smith. Now, when Adrian Smith built this building, he built it in context with its surroundings, contextualism. If you look just above the T and the R at the height of the second terrace, match the height of the building here on the left, that skinny skyscraper. If you look behind you to the right of the letter P, height of the first terrace, match the height of the Wrigley building, the building from which we came on this tour today. Every single terrace on that tower matched the height of a building in its general area. And the architect Adrian Smith wasn't done just yet. He decided, after the Trump Tower being the second tallest in Chicago, why not design the tallest building in the world, right? So that's exactly what he did. He designed the Burj Khalifa in Dubai. Want to see how tall the Burj Khalifa is? I got good news for you, I can show you. Other side of this bridge. If you look back to the top of the Trump Tower, and theoretically imagine one more Trump Tower on top of it. That's the height of the Burj Khalifa, the tallest building in the world, built by the same exact man in the same exact style of architecture. But that's behind you now. Do me a big favor. Get those cameras out. Wave at these people right here. Give them some attention. Then get those cameras out, get those phones out, pointing to the right side of the vessel. It is my pleasure to welcome you to the unofficial corn cobs of the Midwest, but the official Marina City, designed in the 1960s by a man named Bertrand Goldberg. And Bertrand Goldberg designed two flowers essentially. You have a stem in the middle, units or petals on the outside, and every single one of those units or petals is shaped like a deep dish style of pizza here in the city of Chicago. As you walk into your front door, it's 3 feet wide. As you walk out to your balcony, 18 feet wide. No 90-degree angles in these towers whatsoever, because Bertrand Goldberg said there's none in nature. Why would there be in my architecture? But at its base, you have a marina. At its base, you have people eating at a steakhouse that we can't afford, so they wave at us anyways. Ultimately, at its place is also a marina, a steakhouse, an ice skating rink, a bowling alley, a grocery store. Everything you can imagine for a city within a city. But unfortunately, as people look at those towers, they tend to get anxious. They tend to get worried. Because if you look behind you, you can see the parking lot. Imagine having to park there. Don't worry, we're going to get a valet worker to professionally do it for you. And don't worry, there's only been 2 times in Chicago history where a car has fallen off the side of Marina City and into the river. And one was for Steve McQueen's The Hunter, a movie. And another one, an Allstate commercial. But now you know, that's behind you. Keeping your eyes towards the right side of the vessel, let me introduce you to what is called the Reed Murdoch Building. The Reed Murdoch Building, everything I'm about to say about it, you'll be able to see. Counting the buildings or the bays to the right of the clock tower. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Left side of the clock tower. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a lopsided building. You see all those people on the Riverwalk over there? Clueless. They don't know they're looking at a lopsided building. You guys now know though, because of the bridge we're about to go under now. This bridge, the LaSalle Street Bridge, what year was it finished? 1930s. That building, 1910s. When we have a problem here in the city of Chicago, we do something very simple. You want to know what it's called? Getting rid of it. We got rid of the 6th bay of the Reed Murdoch Center to make space for the bridge we're going under now. Where it looks like these people are getting married. Well, not really, but they're taking pictures. You know what I mean. Behind you now, though, hopefully they don't get divorced. Let's look to the right side of the vessel. Directly in front of us today. If you have never seen the Pentagon here in the United States, let me introduce you to the 2nd largest concrete building in the United States. If you haven't seen the Pentagon, you're looking at number 1. On the other side of this bridge, on the right side of the vessel, let me introduce you to the Merchandise Mart. Finished in 1930 by Graham Anderson Probst and wife, clad in what is called the Art Deco style of architecture. How can you see Art Deco today? Right side of the vessel, vertical line soaring upwards into the sky, making that chin go up, representing the optimism of the Roaring Twenties, keeping your chin up. Gold, glamorous, diamond, geometric designs all here on the right side of the vessel. This building is large. Want to know how large? About 4.2 million square feet. What does that number mean to me? Absolutely nothing. Want to know something that means something? This building here on the right is so large, it had its own zip code. 60654 into the 1990s, used for all the shipping address that would go straight to the Merchandise Mart. But it's not just large, don't worry, it's expensive too. In 1948, the Kennedy family bought it for $14 million. They then sold it 50 years later, and in 1998, just 30 years ago around now, behind you now, the Merchandise Mart was worth $500 million. Talk about an investment. But talk about the investment you took on this tour today. Do me a big favor. Stop awkwardly looking at me. Look around. Let me introduce you to Wolf Point, where the 3 branches of the Chicago River meets. Because that's the point you're on now. To the left, the South Branch. We're coming from the main branch today. To the right, our North Branch. But look along these riverbanks. And imagine yourself here in the 1830s, where we incorporated as a town, as a soon-to-be city. And it was somebody there that noticed something growing along the riverbanks. The Potawatomi people. What did they notice growing along these riverbanks? Onions. And during the summer, those onions stunk. So what do they call them? Chica Agua, which translates to Chicago, which translates to stinky onion. That's exactly where we get the name of the city of Chicago from. Is anybody from New York City, the Big Apple? Anybody? Good to have you guys on board, right? The Big Apple's a pretty cool name, right? No, stinky onion's better. Left side of the vessel, though. Left side of the vessel, you're going to be looking at a building directly in front of us called River Point, designed in 2017 by Getchin Partners, and designed to look exactly like a large glass Hot Pocket. At the base of this Hot Pocket right here, you're gonna have these portholes, these ventilation shafts you can see just beyond those trees. And that's because River Point is actually designed exactly above active train tracks, which is gonna be a very common theme as we head back down our South Branch later on this tour. But this building also has something called LEED Platinum certification, standing for Leadership, Energy, and Environmental Design. What does that mean? That building here on the left, one of the most eco-friendly buildings in the world, all here in Chicago. But also here in Chicago, this building here on the left side of the vessel, ignore our competition, don't look at them, don't wave at them. I'm serious. Just look at them, give them a dirty look. Let's do this together. No, don't wave, don't wave. Just look at them. They don't look like they're having fun. I'm joking. Left side of the vessel, ladies and gentlemen. Let me introduce you to the residences at River Bend. A residential building bends with the river. At its base, townhomes. At its peak, condominiums. And I'm not sure how expensive it is to live on the inside of this building. It's Chicago. It's downtown. Surely it's expensive. Not sure though. I can tell you how much a parking spot used to cost though. $50,000. Why? Well, you would park in there, you get an amazing view of the Chicago River from the top of there. Let's see that view here on the right. You see all these skyscrapers? Designed in the last 5 years. You see what I'm getting at now? That building? Early 2000s. You're not getting that view anymore. Hopefully you're not spending that much here on the left. Hopefully, maybe you can spend some money here on the left for the oldest building you'll see on this tour today. Designed in 1898, you're looking at the Fulton House. The Fulton House, a former cold storage warehouse here in the city of Chicago, but readapted in the 1970s by a man named Harry Weiss. Harry Weiss was a little bit of a sailor. He loved nautical themes. He loved boats. So starfish on the side of his building, portholes on top. Loved boats so much, he built his house into a boat. Want to see that boat? Left side of this boat. Let me introduce you to the River Cottages. Designed in the 1980s, once again by Harry Weiss. About 4 units, all going for about $2 million each. All owned by the original owner today. But unfortunately, Harry Weiss loved this architecture so much, he asked his wife to move in. What did she say? No. Well, I got bad news for you. She probably missed this. Because if you look back at the River Cottages, on the other side of the Kinsey Street Bridge, you're going to be able to see the architecture on this building representing 2 sailboats racing off towards Lake Michigan. And once you're done behind you now, you can keep those eyes here towards the right side of the vessel, where you're going to be introduced to the East Bank Club, essentially a very large, expensive gym. It's about $250 per month to work out here on the right side of the boat, because you're going to get some of the best state-of-the-art facilities. You might even meet some of the best state-of-the-art people. Michael Jordan, Oprah Winfrey, the Obamas all used to work out here on the right side of the boat, and surely they were looking through these windows and getting such an amazing view of the Chicago River, right? Nope. And that's because the river in the 1960s was ugly. It was so ugly we didn't want to look at it. So what do? Right side of the vessel. We invented a new style of architecture called putting our back to the river. Essentially means we had no windows at all closer to the river because the city of Chicago and its river was so ugly during this time, we didn't want to look at it. Until 1971, passed the Clean Water Act here in the city of Chicago, installing all those windows at a later point. So now you get an amazing view of the Chicago River as well, an amazing view of the Kinsey townhomes here on the left side of the vessel. Designed in the early 2000s by Papa John James, about 80 European-style townhomes, all going for, once again, about, $2-3 million. And all of them were completely bought out in the early 2000s before one brick was even laid as a part of the construction. That's how badly people wanted to live on the river in the early 2000s. But keep that view to the left side of the vessel, because you're going to see something just beyond this tree. Something green. Something connected to a bridge. Something that kind of looks like a house. Well, if you saw that on the left, then let's look to the right. Something green, something connected to a bridge, something that looks like a house. Ladies and gentlemen, as we go into this bridge today, let me introduce you to this greenhouse referred to as a bridge house. What the heck is that bridge house doing there? Let me explain. The city of Chicago in the early 1900s was a really big industrial city. That means all of our cargo, all of our shipping goods based out of our city, going in and out through the Chicago River. A lot of those boats in the early days, they're pretty tall. They had really tall masts. And if you wanted to lift, our bridge is the Grand Avenue Bridge behind you now. In the 1950s, where do you think you had to stay? Sometimes sleep, sometimes be 24 hours a day. You would sleep instead.
Not like where I live now, but like our old neighborhood. It rains really bad.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I got some love. Building that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. A building shaped like a Y. A building with a 40-foot wide base. Let me introduce you to what is called 150 North Riverside, finished in 2017 by Getchin Partners. And it has a 40-foot wide base, about the same exact size or width of the boat you're on today. This building, fun fact, is designed like every other skyscraper here in the city of Chicago to sway back and forth. Before we get to that, on one side you can see the Riverwalk and the Small Cheval, a good hamburger spot, very expensive though. And then on the other side, active train tracks. That's why you build a building with a Y shape. You guys, you can't build a pillar directly in active train tracks. But as I mentioned, every building, every skyscraper designed to sway back and forth. And that building shaped like a Y doesn't sound like a very good idea then, right? Well, imagine this. While you cannot see it today, we all pretend we can. On top of that building, in the top 4 floors, there's 160,000 gallons of water up there. Essentially, as a wind on a windy day like today hits the side of that building, all that water goes against it, keeping that building much more stable than any of us can imagine, and what is called a mass slosh dampener. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm feeling 1, 2, 3.
Civic Opera Building.
And I said, if you can read, that doesn't say building. That says building. V-U, interchangeable in the Roman alphabet. Not significant. Soul design in the 1930s here in the city of Chicago ultimately was an interesting character in the way he had a mistress. Where is his mistress from? New York. Was she trying out for the Metropolitan Opera? Was she any good? No. Terrible. They threw tomatoes at her. So what did he do? He decided to design his own civic opera building for her, facing away from New York, putting his back to New York just for her. How romantic. Look at your partners today and ask, would you do that for me? Steel glass building. The steel glass building designed by a man named Ludwig Mies van der Rohe. Ludwig Mies van der Rohe, a very influential architect here in the city of Chicago, because he ultimately originated in Germany, teaching at the Bauhaus. Ultimately one of the most influential architecture firms in Germany, then moved here during the war, and he went to teach at IIT, the Illinois Institute of Technology, where he became very influential, teaching the international style of architecture, which means you could put that building behind you anywhere in the world and it'll just fit in. Even if you've never been to our city, you might have seen the next building on this tour today. If you look to the right side of the vessel, on the other side of this bridge, and you've seen the 2008 film The Dark Knight, you're going to be looking at the Gotham City Bank, or the building that the Joker broke out of in the beginning of the film. And I got some bad news for you. The Joker was not stealing millions and millions of dollars. He was actually stealing 35 million envelopes. That's because that's the number that was based out of our old post office. Only during the summer made you look. Right side of the vessel, just above the black box, you're going to look at a building called 225 West Wacker Drive. At the base of 225 West Wacker Drive, follow it up to the sky. You're going to see a bridge at the top of that building. And that bridge is paying homage to the bridges in front of us. The 37 vascular trunnion active bridges we have on this tour today. What does all that mean? 37's a number. Active means they go up and down. Up there on the 103rd floor, where you might even be able to see the feet of people today. So many features all into that building. One thing that I'm actually not going to say about it just yet. Its name. And that's because nobody here in the city of Chicago, or all around the world for that matter, can actually agree on its name. Now, we're going to come back to the name game later, but here's what we're going to do. We're going to play a little bit of a game. You're going to be looking up in the sky at what is called the Sears Tower. Alright, we've got Sears out of the way. Made some pretty good noise for it. Other side of this bridge, right side of the vessel, so tall on the top of this next tower. Up in the sky, you're going to be looking at the Willis Tower. Wow. Really don't like Willis that much, huh? Still sways. About 6 inches in each direction. Windy day. 18 inches in each direction, back and forth up there. Imagine being all the way up there in that sky deck. Your stomach starts to hurt. You walk towards the bathroom, you sit down on that toilet, and on a windy day, you just got a personal bidet.
Oh my gosh.
Get it, guys. Water sloshing around. Yeah, come on, guys. You got there. But this isn't a joke game. Let's talk about its architecture. 9 buildings bundle one. Where does that design come from? Bruce Graham and Dr. Fazl Khan. The lead structural engineer and the lead architect. Yeah, the American education system. Keeping our eyes here on the right side of the vessel, though, you're going to be looking at a building that is so beautiful. It bends with the river. The colored glass is the same exact color as the river you're on today. Ultimately, voted the most beautiful office building here in the city of Chicago. So surely, it has a beautiful name to go along with it, right? 333 West Wacker Drive. And 333 West Wacker Drive was designed in 1984 by Cohen, Peterson, and Fox. And this building forces me to get a little personal. See, I like to think of myself a lot like Ferris Bueller. Young, showing you around Chicago, skipping class. Yes, that's me. Why am I talking about Ferris Bueller, though? Because if I'm Ferris Bueller, that makes this building here on, hey, why did you put a ballroom on the inside of a post office? Here's what their email said in return. Quote, just in case anybody wants to get married or hold a bar mitzvah. And has anybody gotten married or held a bar mitzvah on the inside of that post office?
Yes. Yes. They had to have.
I don't know. Left side of the vessel. I'm not sending an email. Left side of the vessel, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to a building that might feel a little familiar on this tour today. If you remember the corn cobs of the Midwest, you're going to be looking at the same exact style of architecture here on the left. However, what I left out about the corn cobs is in the 1960s, the corn cobs of the Midwest you saw earlier today were actually designed as a way to attract people to live downtown. Post-World War II in the 1960s, all the veterans coming back wanted to live in the suburbs, living the American dream. But how about living the American dream here on the left side of the vessel in what is called River City? River City, not Marina City this time, designed in the 1980s once again by Bertrand Goldberg. A city within a city, public boat tours that go out daily, a marina at base, you can even see the daycare. And we're going to be paying attention to a silver lining just below this bridge. That silver lining right there is what is called an eyelash. Works a lot like our own eyelashes. What do our eyelashes exist for? To keep all that debris out of our eyes. What does this one do? Keeps all of that debris hitting these oncoming pedestrians that wouldn't think twice about going under a bridge. But keep your eyes here towards the right side of the vessel once again. You're going to be looking to the right. You're going to be looking at this black box right here. That black box, millions of dollars worth of projectors that displays 2.2 acres of art. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Do me a big favor. You can't. Those are W's, which stands for William Wrigley Jr., who used to sell what? Soap. He used to sell soap. They attached 2 pieces of gum with the soap. That's when people started buying the soap. What does that mean about the soap? It sucked. That's what it means. Still see the sky deck up there on the 103rd floor, where you might even be able to see the feet of people today. So many features to say about it just yet. Its name. And that's because nobody here in the city of Chicago, or all around the world for that matter, can actually... And nobody's waving at you guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... You guys are making up numbers. I don't see anybody waving. West Wacker Drive here on the right side of the vessel was designed in 1984 by C.F. Murphy. Shorter hashtag building. Even if you've never been to our city, you might have seen the next building on this tour today. If you look to the right side of the vessel, on the other side of the film. I got some bad news for you. The Joker was not stealing millions and millions of dollars. He was actually stealing 35 million envelopes. That's because that's the number that was based out of our old post office. Just behind her, the Tribune Tower. We're going to come back to her, I promise. Because we're going to keep our eyes here on the left side of the vessel, where you're going to look between the Tribune Tower, between the Wrigley Building, and you're going to see a building. Building, here on the right. Its name, the Builders Building. Why? Built by many different builders. Why? Let me show you. You can see it. It started in the 1930s. You can see where it started in the 1930s. You can see then where it stopped in the 1930s, where they came back in the 1950s, redesigning the Art Deco style of architecture. Then you can see where they also designed it in the 1980s. This building, different styles of architecture from different decades, thanks to the Great Depression. Started in the 1930s. Everybody was broke. Everybody was depressed. So ultimately, the architects designed to come back and redesign that building in different styles of architecture from different decades here in Chicago. But keep those eyes towards the right side of the vessel. It is my pleasure to welcome you to one of the 8 different sections of our Riverwalk. We have 8 different sections, 8 different themes. Every theme and one theme. The theme here on the right side of the vessel, you're going to be looking at the theater section, which means you guys are the beautiful show today. Which lets me, you're going to look directly in front of us. You're not going to look at him, you're going to look at my favorite building on this tour. Get that phone out, get that camera out, get those eyes out, get everything out. Look to the right side of the vessel, look in the sky. As you're going to be something shiny, something gold, something real gold, something 24 karat gold. As you're going to be looking at the peak of what is called the former carbide and carbon building, the now Pendry. What is that onion dome up there? It's ornamentation, don't worry about it. Did you see that landing pad on top of it? Yeah, it's a landing pad. For helicopters? No. For planes? No. For blimps? Yes. And here on the left. What is that? That's Lake Point Tower. Finished in the 1960s by 2 architects, Schiffer and Heinrich. What is that fidget spinner doing there? Let me explain. See, all of the land from where we started this tour today at Michigan Avenue is actually better than Saturday Night Live. At the base of the NBC Tower, until the year 2009, we held and aired the Jerry Springer Show Canal, connecting but reversing the flow of this river all the way down to the Plains, down the Illinois, down to Mississippi, all the way down to the Gulf. We were so excited about this. These are the biggest party you can imagine. What did everyone come to that party? Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Lucas. I was your tour guide today. I'm going to be the first one off this vessel, the first one down the ramp. I'll be the first one here to say goodbye to you, accept any feedback, accept any criticism on the terrible jokes I stole from somebody else. Also, just be right there to accept anything in any denomination you see fit.
Same scene, same screen, slight shift in the frame. Small change, new lane, now the timeline changed. One choice, one voice, now with branches and range. Two pass, still I stand in the same. Flip quick, shift flips, let the